Son, let the knife do the cutting. Those words my father said to me in one of the very few conversations we ever had back in the last century in the early 80s. He had taken me for a steak dinner and I was struggling with a knife and a fork and trying to get my steak into small bits so that I could eat this meat. And he looked at me and he said, "Lawrence, son, let the knife do the cutting." And that was a lesson learned for two reasons. Number one, he showed me how properly to hold a fork upside down, European style, and a knife in my dominant hand, my right, with the serrated edges down so they would be able to perform their task and to hold the knife at an angle to the flesh I was trying to cut. And on with details. The second reason that became so important was, in addition to etiquette and very functional purpose of using a knife, was how that saying became a metaphor for a lesson I would spend the rest of my life exploring. In fact, this lessons learned, really I should call lesson still learning, or hashtag lesson still exploring, because I'm still learning all the ways that I have to learn to, son, let the knife do the cutting. So in addition to etiquette and learning how to hold cutlery and how to put a napkin on my lap as soon as I sit down and hold myself erect at a table and be culturally appropriate in most cultures, I learned that when we make choices to surround ourselves with a support system, those choices, once made correctly, enable us to maximize our talents and not be the orchestrators of the universe. So we become one domino in a string of dominoes that are equally supportive and strong and synergistic. If we have weak links, we're only as strong as our weakest link in our chain. So I learned later, show me the 3 people you most stay in contact with, the 3 most popular thoughts you have running through your head on a daily basis, and the 3 things you most often say, and I'll learn how strong is your support system because I'll see immediately your own values. If my support system is strong and I choose in nutrition and intimacy and self-care and spirituality and work and medical care, all of the support systems that set me up for success, I can relax, let my true authentic self vibrate on higher vibrations, and let all those things that I've chosen do their magic and carry their weight for me, and metaphorically, let the knife do the cutting. It's not for me to go into a steak with my teeth. It's not for me to rip a steak apart with my hands. It's for me to know what cutlery does to separate a steak, literally, metaphorically, to learn the tools that I have chosen in my life and how best to let them do their work so that I can put my majors into major and not spend a lot of my life majoring in minors. Do you ever find that you end up spending a day or a Lenten season or a lifetime majoring in minors? I like to major in majors, and so my point is, we have to choose the knives and the cutlery and the support systems that allow us to be our most authentic self. Another aspect of let the knife do the cutting involves understanding the true purpose of the choices that we've made. For example, if you have an iPhone, understanding how really to maximize the use of Siri for time management, to set me up for success in one day, to keep me on track, to maximize my day, means let the knife do the cutting. Siri I set up and then helps support me and has my back, if you will. If I have a Sonic Care toothbrush, knowing which setting and how to use it is so much more important than just buying a Sonic Care toothbrush and brushing a traditional way with a non-ultrasonic device, for example, because then the toothbrush has my back and supports me. I know how to use it. Pouring boiling water onto black tea, so popular in America, right, renders the phytochemicals and antioxidant properties less efficient and less efficacious. So learning how to brew tea properly, or coffee, or any beverage we're going to do to make sure that we take advantage of its full properties means we understand it, and then we brew it or do it or set it up for success so it can help us and have our back. And the knife, after we've chosen, does the cutting. In all aspects of our lives, I'm not saying we need to learn every single manual and instruction and understand how everything works in detail, but how many things do we have in our lives that we don't really hold accountable for supporting us, including people, and having our back, and what that truly means. One of my favorite expressions on this planet is when someone says, "I'll have your back." I don't always trust that because I have and been burned, and I'm sure you can relate, but knowing when we make the right choices that all of our decisions can be to supportive devices that set us up for success in one day means that once we know what we're using after the right choice, people and things involving ourselves with, we absolutely set ourselves up for success. So we can let the knife do the cutting. With love in my heart and a commitment to continue to spread wellness without walls, I'm Lawrence, thanking you for letting me share this lesson still learning with you. And I'm asking, how are you, in most aspects of your life, making choices that set yourself up in all areas for success, and let the knife do the cutting?